Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Wyoming. Yes, Wyoming. We get to talk about you. I don't think I have ever spoken about the state of Wyoming in the entire existence of the channel because you guys do a fantastic job of letting your citizens live like Americans out there. Well, lo and behold, we are going to finally do a video about you. And as you know, there's only two ways you end up on the channel. You do something so nefarious, so rotten, so sinister that I got to tell the whole rest of the country about it. Or, in this case, you're doing something really awesome, not only for the citizens of the state of Wyoming and not only for lawful and responsible gun owners in the state of Wyoming, but candidly, you're doing a big service for the sanctity and safety of your community as a whole. I'll explain what the state of Wyoming is doing because it's something that a lot of other states should think about as well. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about the state that wants to ban gun-free zones. Okay, hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, let's remember that this video is being brought to us by our good friends at the Sonoran Desert Institute. That's right, get ready to launch your career in the firearm industry today. Get ready to start arming yourself with education today. And most importantly, get ready to start defending the inalienable rights of millions of Americans nationwide, all through our most powerful act, which of course is education. Listen, the Sonoran Desert Institute has a program, a degree, or a certificate for anything that you may desire. So for more information, you can either check them out in the description box below, or easier yet, just visit them at sdi.edu. Okay, Wyoming, and the rest of the country needs to listen up. Let me introduce you to House Bill 172. This is a bill that, if enacted into legislation, would actually ban gun-free zones in Wyoming. It actually wouldn't ban gun-free zones. What it would actually do, it would make any gun-free zone in the state of Wyoming not a gun-free zone if you have a recognized concealed carry license, whether that's issued by the state of Wyoming, which appears the statute does state that, or would it apply to other states in which Wyoming accepts through reciprocity? That question remains unanswered. But the bottom line is that if you are a licensed concealed carry holder in the state of Wyoming, gun-free zones will not apply to you so long as you are concealed carrying that firearm. Now, for those of you who don't really understand why we would be against gun-free zones, let me explain why we would. You see, it's not my opinion, it's basic facts here. You see, according to the Crime Prevention Research Center, if we go back and we look at mass shootings over the last 50 years or so, what we find is that 97.8 of all mass shootings occur inside a gun-free zone. Why is that? Well, mass shooters are looking to inflict mass casualty. And the quickest and easiest way to ensure that you will inflict mass casualty is to make sure that there is no armed resistance. And that is why we see mass shooters time and time again select gun-free zones as the place to actually perpetuate these slaughters. Well, listen, the sponsors of the bill, and there are many to them, they get right to it because the bill starts, "This section shall be known as and may be cited as the Wyoming Repeal Gun-Free Zones Act." Now, without getting into all the gun-free zones that the state of Wyoming has, because they're probably going to be very similar to what a lot of other states have, the way this legislation would work is pretty simple. If you got a concealed carry license, you get to carry. The actual language of the bill reads as follows. Persons lawfully carrying concealed weapons in Wyoming under WS 6-8-104A2 through 4 may carry a concealed weapon in the following places. Okay, if you are licensed, according to those Wyoming chapters, you get to carry a concealed weapon in the following places. 1, any meeting of a government entity. 2, any meeting of the legislature or committee thereof. 3, any public building not otherwise prohibited under Wyoming law or regulated under this section. But in addition to that, Wyoming, you would have additional places where you could lawfully conceal carry, and they include 1, any public school, public college, or university athletic event taking place on public property that does not sell alcoholic beverages. 2, any public elementary or secondary school facility. 3, any public college or university facility. And then, of course, there are certain exceptions, areas where it does not matter what your concealed carry status is. Wyoming, you will still be prohibited from doing that. And I should point out that this statute repeatedly mentions that this is concealed carry. There's going to still be several prohibitions about open carrying in many of these locations. Oh, but there's more, Wyoming, and this is an issue that I feel very, very strongly about, which is school shootings and how to prevent them. Because every time we got one of those, one side's screaming it's all mental health, which it probably is, and the other side's screaming, oh, it's the guns, it's the guns, the guns. And, you know, even if both sides are right, you're a couple hundred years away from solving that problem. We should take the September 12th approach. That is, lock the schools down and secure them in the same way we did the airports, right? We haven't had a plane hijack since then. Why do we not protect our children the same way we protect air travel in the United States? But I digress. Arming the teachers is a good thing. Arming the teachers is a wise thing. Now, there's a correct way to do it, and that's through training. This legislation will allow teachers who meet certain requirements to remain armed while on school property. The bill reads, the Board of Trustees in each school district may adopt rules and regulations to govern employees lawfully carrying concealed weapons in Wyoming under WS 6-8-104 on or in any property or facility owned or leased by the school district. And then the rules will also require, the rules under this subsection shall, 1, require any person carrying a firearm pursuant to this section to maintain the firearm on his person at all times or in a concealed biometric container or lockbox within the direct control of the person at all times. So very strict storage requirements when on school grounds, which I think we could all agree are reasonable. What other conditions are placed on it? 2, establish ongoing training requirements, curricula, and instructor for qualifications in consultation with local law enforcement, including. And then it goes through all of the requirements. And so what it basically does is it says, hey, listen, we need the school districts to get together with local law enforcement, develop training curriculum, develop training programs, train these teachers to defend the lives of the students. It is a fantastic idea and one that is long time coming. Oh, and by the way, the training requirements for educators can be waived if you're in an incredibly rural part of Wyoming, which there likely may be several areas that qualify as that, because simply put, it would be practically, chronologically, and financially impossible for teachers to actually obtain that type of training. So there are even some exceptions for much more rural school districts. And then finally, Wyoming, and this is a piece of law that we have in Washington State, and many states do. Some states don't, like California, and they regret it. State preemption. What state preemption basically says is, hey, listen, no town, county, municipality, or any other smaller form of government is going to create any type of gun law. All of the gun laws will be created by state government and they will apply to the state in a uniform fashion. A very, very important piece of legislation to have. Otherwise, when you travel across your state, you will go from legal to illegal, from legal to illegal, depending on what type of political jurisdiction you may be in when traveling the state. State preemption laws allows for a uniform application of laws throughout the entire state. Okay, so in an ocean of terrible legislation, which we oftentimes talk about here at Washington Gun Law, along comes absolutely fantastic piece of legislation, and for that we're going to give you a big ol' attaboy. It is House Bill 172. We're going to link it up down below so that you guys can all geek out on it for yourself. Now, if you got any questions about this, or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, and there's a lot more of them clearly in Wyoming than back here home in Washington, you should know how to get all the Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, all you do is click on that link right there and tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is right down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.